Okay, there we are. So welcome, Amy Ward. Thanks for,
Hello.
for joining me today.
Thanks
I,
for having me.
I know, I'm so excited. So y'all, those of you watching this, I have to tell you, when Amy and I were on a Zoom, probably about 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah, yes, I
Probably
think so.
about 2 weeks ago. And we were really just talking about like different things, but the topic of the 54321 came up and how Amy was rocking it. And she began to sort of share her story about, how she works her daily business. And I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but in sort of the process from a mindset and then an action thing that she went through within her own self, being an 80K leader. And so I just thought this was so incredibly important because, Amy, I've been very guilty of that as well. We're doing
Yeah.
those daily things, but being intentional about putting the checklist and then turning it in
Yes.
is something that so many can learn from. So I'm going to pause and I want to just toss it over to you. And tell us really quickly about how long you've been thriving and just a blurb about your Thrive experience, because some people may not know you, which they're missing out.
Oh.
But I want them to just sort of like know like about you and about what 54321, where you were, what it's done, and where you are now.
Yeah, sure. So I am Amy. I'm an 80K leader, and I will be totally honest. 2.5 years ago, I had hid probably 15 friends in my Facebook newsfeed because I was tired of seeing all of their Thrive posts. I wanted nothing to do with it. I thought it was stupid, and I just didn't want to I didn't want to see it anymore. And so, it's part of one of the favorite parts about my story. My best friend Amy and I were on the phone one morning, and we were just complaining about how tired we are and how our kids are exhausting us, and the same thing we did every single morning. And finally, somehow Thrive came up, and I'm like, what even is it? I mean, I'd just been bad mouthing it for 6 months, but didn't even know what it was. And so secretly asked a friend for a trial, got a 6 straight day trial, didn't feel a thing from it, wasn't going to order, totally had written it off. And then my mind just couldn't quit thinking about it. So I ordered a 30-day supply. I was very much into my 4th week before I ever woke up and felt Thrive. I wasn't even close to, it was right at the second where I was like, oh yeah, this stuff's crap. Like I thought it was. And one morning I woke up and I'd slept all the way through the night. That had not happened in probably a decade. And that morning it was like the light switch. I woke up. I was so alert. I was so focused when I got to work. I had a desk job where I was just, stationary all day, which drove me crazy. And I just had so much energy. I didn't want to crash at 3 p.m. I was taking naps in my car on my lunch break from my corporate job. And then, wanting to know why my kids and husband wanted to eat when I got home. So I was just way too tired to keep up with all of the demands of, momming and peopling and all of that. So when I tell people this product changed my life, I know that's so corny and everybody says it about everything, but it could not be more of the truth. I mean, there's not one day that I want to go without it ever again. 2.5 years later, still feel exactly the way I felt day one.
That's crazy. I did not know it took you that long to thrive.
Yeah, I was definitely a late bloomer.
It's well worth the wait though, right?
Yes, absolutely. Because once I got it, and it was amazing.
Yeah. I love the light switch. So, all right. So then you decided to promote. You dove into your business. I know you've had super duper success, hitting many of the bonuses. And last year, 2 years in a row now, you've gotten an award, a national award, recognized on stage, you guys, at the convention. This year, was it 3rd?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 3 in the entire company, which is like hundreds of thousands of people, for TPA. Okay, like I attempt to try to keep up with you, but there's no chance. Like, even on a really bad day, I'm nowhere close. But you guys at 3, what that means is Amy gets more people on the Thrive Experience than new people than 99.9% of us. So we need to listen to what Amy is saying about the 54321 because it's just an amazing thing. So tell us a little bit about what you thought about it and sort of your story with 54321.
Yeah, sure. So 54321 was kind of a thing when I started promoting, and throughout the whole 2.5 years that I've been in this business, I definitely kept that kind of mentality, you know, reach outs and follow ups, social media posts. I love to let social media work for me, you know, and do some of the work for myself and get people in my inbox before I have to message them. You know, I think it's an awesome thing for a business. And constantly adding new people to the list. And when I first started, I mean, every single person I talked to went on a 3-way call with Amy. Like, it wasn't, as soon as somebody said, what is this? I was like, hey, can I call you for 5 minutes? Way easier for me to tell you over the phone than text it all out, you know? And I just made it like nonchalant, got them on the phone with Amy. I'm like, I don't know much about it yet. I'm going to let her answer all your questions. It was just as easy as that. And when I, you know, got into, I think everybody in this business could say they have gotten to a point where they felt a little stuck. Maybe they weren't moving as far as I mean, I've been doing it this 2.5 years and I haven't hit 200K yet, you know? So you definitely have those moments. And so I think it's so important to go back to what you were doing when you were booming. Like, when I first came on, hit VIP 800, 1600, 4K, 12K in less than 60 days. And, you know, just went right up the rank ladder, and then, you know, you just kind of stall out. So when they kind of reintroduced the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 a few weeks ago, I was super excited because I think it's such a great map no matter what your goal is. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. If you just want to thrive for free, this is still what you should be doing. You know, just taking it down a notch. If you want to be 200K, this is still what you should be doing. You're just upgrading it, you know, multiplying those areas by 3, 4, 5. So it's something that works for everyone. And I think it helps you keep track. And like you said, you are just on top of what you're doing. So when it first launched a few weeks ago, I was, like I said, I was excited, but I did not think that I needed to print the tracker because I kept thinking to myself, oh, I already do this. I do this every day. This is going to be great. Now everybody else is going to do it too. And I didn't do it that first week. And then Mario went and made a post on her page. And she's like, you know, I really want you guys to participate. I don't know if she had gotten as many entries as she thought she would. And so I want my team to participate when I'm doing things. And so I wanted to participate for her. So I printed out the tracker that Sunday and I got it all ready. And I mean, I wasn't even close to through with Monday and Tuesday and realized how much I really was kind of dropping the ball. Like, when I got through that first week, not one time had I connected a leader, not once. And I realized, I mean, I knew I wasn't doing 3-way calls because I'm so busy doing them with my team, but I had stopped completely doing them for my personal business. And that was huge. You know, that is one thing that I was definitely doing in the beginning that I am clearly not doing now. And I didn't want to turn my sheet in because I had no points for that column, none. But seeing it, and I just use, I do a lot more than 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I just use the check off one because there's not enough spaces. Yeah. So I just check it off, and then I write, at the end of the day, I go back through my inbox and I write down, yes, exactly, how many did I actually end up doing, just so that it's easier to, you know, add it up at the end. So like yesterday, I ended up doing 8 reach outs, 15 follow-ups, and then that way I can just add up what I've circled.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, there's lots of options. I use the one, I've
so many.
The ones you're using. I like keeping the total though. That's not something I do. But here are some other options too, you guys, if you like these better, where you write the names down.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I love about it, is it's so, you know, the leaders have gone far above and beyond to make it tailored to whatever you like. Mm-hmm. And so I just like seeing, you know, if I've got, like today I did 11 reach outs. Well, I don't really like odd numbers, so I'll probably do 4 more. So it'll be 15. You know, just looking at it on paper makes such a difference. So I turned it in the next week and I was so much more diligent about what I was doing. I held myself accountable so much more than I had previously. And I like to use it in conjunction with, the Future Thriver Sheets. Mm-hmm. I'm not an electronic person. If I write something down, so much more likely to remember it and it's going to spark in my mind. So, and I love these because, yes, it's my favorite because you can go through, you're like, okay, I've made them a free account. What's next? Okay, let me invite them to my customer group, or let me offer them, you know, a discount today. Mm-hmm. And you can just go through and have the check marks. And it just falls right in line with this. My reach outs, I do a lot of them as like first connections, and I absolutely love birthday messages. And so, even if I'm not offering free trials, which is something that I've done many, many times, happy birthday, free trial if you're interested, so on and so forth. But even if I'm not doing that, I still send them a message. Like, hope you have an awesome day. And it's a great connection. And then I write them down as one of my reach outs. And then I know that I'm going to go to their page intentionally, and I'm going to love on some of their stuff. And I might send them a message a couple days later, like, oh my gosh, I saw your pictures from Disney. They are so cute. Did y'all have a good time? And just make a nonchalant conversation. And then seeing all the follow-ups. If I've made the connection with them, okay, now I need to follow up with them. So I just think there's power in seeing what you have done in front of you. 100%. Yeah.
I love it. And so I love so many points you brought up, but one in particular is that, you know what, like this is a living like document that you can work. I mean, you can choose whichever one works for your lifestyle, and it works with you. If you don't get a chance to do one of the things, if you haven't made that connection, I know for me personally, the biggest challenge is the connecting with a leader. Because and oftentimes like I am like, I'm guilty of it, not doing three-way phone calls, but I challenge myself, okay, I need to bring at least 5 three-way phone calls a week. If I can't get a three-way phone call, I need to put it into a message and voice it back and forth.
Yes. I love those. They work so great. And I think people don't feel as standoffish almost. And then most of the time they end up in the phone call anyway. They start asking questions and you're like, hey, can you just call me? I love message chats.
I do too. And I think that I love it because it's a 1-minute message. You can hear somebody's excitement. And just sort of knock them out.
So important.
Yeah. It's so efficient. But I love the fact that you're like, just because you don't have a checkbox on every single thing, or you don't have a name on everything, turn it in. Hold yourself accountable. Because your team sees that. They see if you're up there. They see if you're winning one of the things. And so if you have someone that like is listening to this and they're thinking like, I feel stuck, I've been doing this, whether it's been for a few months, a few years, maybe they just finished their VIP and they're feeling deflated that maybe it didn't go as well as they thought. Like, what is your advice to like be able to jump into this? Let's say that you're talking to that person who is super duper busy. Like they are so busy and don't have a ton of time to devote.
I think basically what I say to most people is this is such an easy, simple way that should not take you a lot of time. Just print it out and just check it off. If you've got somebody coming out of VIP that's going for 4K, it's just you can just let them stick with the 5 and the 4 and the 3 and don't add to it anything right off the bat and just see how they do. That way it's not so overwhelming for them, but it's giving them a structure, because this is never going to change. This business is always going to be about reach outs, follow-ups, and adding people to your list and the validation calls. It's just this great circle of this constant business flow, and you got to have the people to follow up with, and you're not going to have it if you're not reaching out to people and making connections. So just reiterating how important it is to just make the time and do it intentionally. And that's literally what I did. I worked 9.5-hour days when I started this business, and I had to actually work a whole full week once a month on call at night. So I would be up all night taking calls and then working all day. And I still found time. So when somebody says to me like, oh, well, I don't have time, I'm like, you probably do. So just squeeze it in, And when this became important to me very early on, I didn't think it would. It wasn't looking for a business. Had never been in direct sales before. But when it clicked and it did become important to me, I made the time. Whether it was I got up 15 minutes even earlier than I already got up, or I stayed up 15 minutes later at night, it shouldn't take, if you're just doing the 5-4, the bare minimum, it should not take you longer than that. It really shouldn't. And I think the practice makes perfect. You get into it, you know what works, and it's so repetitive, it's just repetitive, and then it's easier to add on as you go.
So last question for you, where do you, like, from a logistics standpoint, because someone may be listening thinking, this sounds great, but I'm like the most unorganized person. How do I hold myself? Like, I love the idea, but how do I hold myself accountable? Like, So where do you like keep your paper? Like where do you
Yeah.
do your work? Where do you, you know, like how do you keep all of that sort of buttoned up and organized to make sure you are accountable?
Yes. So I don't have an actual designated office, but I do have like a nice big desk in my bedroom. My bedroom is big, so I've got a nice big area for it. And I think it's important to have an area to go to where it's almost like a mindset. You get there, you sit down, you're like, okay, I'm going to jump on this and get this done. Yeah. And, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I do it from my couch, but I think that just I spent a lot of months, probably the first year and a half in this business, not writing anything down and not recording any of it. And I literally over the summer kicked myself so many times as I tried to get organized from, 2 years worth of business. It was a nightmare. So I tell everybody, write stuff down from the beginning. Take it from me and how long I had to spend backtracking. It was awful. And so now I love to keep these sheets, the Future Thriver sheet. And I actually have a big old stack right now because I haven't hole punched them, but then I'll hole punch them. And I have a big notebook that I keep them in. Mm-hmm. And then that way, these are from this whole stack is really just like the last running 2 weeks. So I'm still working on those people. I'm mm-hmm. still working on the follow-ups and getting them through the funnel. Once they're a customer of mine and they've purchased, I cross them off. And then that's when I take it to a spreadsheet and I have all my auto ship customers on a spreadsheet. And that way I can keep up with what months they ordered. I go on after every auto ship morning and track them if they ordered, if they didn't, and find out why and offer, credits or something like that. So, write it down. It's so important. And like I said, I just shove them in the notebook after the end. And when they're customers, then they're on my computer.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
It helped me so much. I know it's going to help so many people watching.
Yay.
And so I look forward to it. I know that you will. I won't be surprised if I see you again up there next year.
I'm trying.
The PPA. I love it. I'm like, oh my God, I know her.
It's like a game.
I know. It's just like it's a big giant deal to do that, and to do it back-to-back years is quite incredible. So
thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing, and
thanks for having me.
Thanks for being patient with all the Zoom stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Hopefully you get it figured out. And that'll be awesome once you do.
Thanks, girl.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, bye.